Well, I'm happy to be here. I grew up coming to Corams. I will say I've spent more time in Corams not sober.
I think a lot of people can say that.
Yeah. But I've always enjoyed the food. The Heavenly Hash is my favorite. But one of the reasons why I'm here is because 40 years, right?
Yep.
40 years, and I wanted to talk to you about, like, how did you get started? Like, how did it even happen?
That's kind of there was four brothers. And so my oldest brother always, we were going to do something. We were going to do this. We were going to do storage sheds. We was going to do this. We were going to do that. So I was in the Army. I was at Fort Rucker flying helicopters.
I didn't know you were in the Army.
I had two brothers in the sheriff's department. Then my oldest brother worked at a telephone company. And so I got a phone call one night and finished up, and Linda said, "What's going on?" And I said, "Hey, we're going in the restaurant business." And so she kind of chuckled because we'd been going to do something forever. And so one thing led to another. We found a lot. We kind of got backed into it. We got further into the process than we could get out of. So then we had to open up, and we had absolutely no idea what we were doing. I mean, you had a telephone man, two cops, and an Army guy.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time in the coffee shops. Whenever I'd come home on leave, we did a lot of mullet fishing. We'd cast net and everything.
Uh-huh.
So we said, hey, doesn't look like rocket scientists are running these places.
Yeah.
We could do this. Boy, we got a lesson in a hurry.
Yeah. So you got, say, 23rd Street, because I grew up in St. Andrews. So I grew up right there by the ball fields right there next to the movie theater.
Yep.
And so, but like my dad, that was like his go-to place, because I think it used to be the $5 burger special back when I was growing up, or maybe it was $6 or $7. I can't remember.
With, it was just we had 2 eggs, grits, and toast for 99 cents. We had a hamburger fries.
What year was that?
That was out on Thomas Drive, 1986. I think the hamburger fries and tea was $1.99 at that time.
And then, of course, on the weekends, we came here every single Saturday. FSU was playing because obviously you're a huge FSU fan, always have been.
Yep.
But no, I didn't know. So you were you a warrant officer?
No, I was commissioned.
You were. Oh, okay. What year were you in the Army?
I retired in '95. So I was got out, stayed out for 5 years, met Linda, got married, went back in.
Uh-huh.
Enlisted, got branched MP, spent about 2 years as an MP, went to OCS, got branched MP again.
Yeah.
Spent about 2 years at Fort Stewart as the XO of the MP company.
So you weren't that far away then?
Oh, no, went to flight school at Fort Rucker.
Yeah, I got a buddy of mine. He just graduated from Fort Rucker flying. I was in 11 Bravo, so I was up at Campbell. I was on the 101st.
Yep.
So, but that's always cool to find out somebody else, especially. Do you think that your military service had a lot to do with your success of being able to, maneuver the way you did through the restaurant business?
I mean, management's management, whether you're in the military or whether you're in civilian, Mm-hmm. And I tell everybody, you're no better than your employees.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what business you're in. And we've been blessed with some really good employees.
Yeah. What's been the biggest hurdle that you guys have had to overcome over the years?
I mean, we started out, we were 24 hours a day. And so we were that up until the hurricane. And then when the hurricane hit, it destroyed so much of the affordable housing where the employees were renting and everything that they were kind of forced to move. They didn't want to and they couldn't afford to, but they had to. So they went to Dothan, they went, Montgomery, different places. And we lost that labor base. So that's when we cut out the 24 hours a day.
Okay.
So that's even now, labor is probably the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people also understand that Bayou George, Panama City Beach. Do you have a Panama City Beach location anymore?
No, there's nothing on the beach anymore.
There used to be the one on Thomas Drive and then the one that was on Back Beach past Highway 79.
Yep.
But this place is, so the other morning was the first time I'd been in here since Hurricane Michael. Because, I didn't come back until 2020. And then I think you guys were under construction for a good while.
It took us 2 years to get open.
Yeah. What, as far as after Hurricane Michael bouncing back, obviously help was one of the biggest things that you had going. But as far as like, if you had to kind of talk about how the economy has changed since you started.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just prices in general. But,
Yeah.
you know, I'll give you a prime example. Right now, with the minimum wage laws in the state of Florida, we are paying 5 times what they're paying in Alabama. And so, you know, we don't have a printing press in the back. We can't print money. So if our cost goes up, the only thing we can do is increase prices. Well, the economy like it is right now, people that were eating 5 days a week with us are now eating 3 days a week. Now you think, well, that's not that bad. That's 40% reduction.
That's
and your cost, your fixed cost continues to go. So it is a challenge trying to stay ahead. You know, eggs run up to $280 a case, 75 cents a piece. Never seen them that high. And then the bottom fell out and they came back down reasonable.
Yeah.
But just trying to maintain that happy medium there where you don't price yourself out of business.
Yeah. You know, I think that's one of the biggest things because when we say 40 years of your company being in business, you don't, or your restaurant being in business, you don't see that a lot.
You don't. You don't see a lot of family businesses that survive that long, especially without changing. You know, Captain Anderson's been here longer than that.
Yeah.
But they're in a different ballpark than we are. But yeah, family business has been around 40 years, pretty good.
So where I was going with that is that, you know, to go 40 years, with a lot of these guys who are coming up right now trying to figure out like, okay, I want to start up a restaurant. I want to have one that's local. I want to be locally owned and operated. And if you had to give them some advice right now, if they were trying to get their start, what would you tell them?
Don't overbuild. Okay, don't build more than the business can support. Okay, if you've got a $500 or $500,000 business, that's fairly easy to maintain. You go $2 million, and you can't generate enough sales to pay for that. And we've seen that with a couple of restaurants in the area where they just overbuilt and then they couldn't come back.
Well, it seems like everybody who starts up a business now, or especially in the restaurant industry, they try to expand super quick. Like they try to, I want 3 or 4 locations. I want to be in Callaway. I want to be in Panama City. I want to be on Panama City Beach. And they overthink it, and they end up expanding out, but then they end up shriveling right up because all of their cost is going into.
You got to know who you are. I mean, you really do, and you got to define yourself, and then you got to stick with it. You can overgrow your menu. You know, every item that you add on the menu increases workload in the kitchen. For a long time, I don't know if they do now or not. I don't go, but for a long time, Waffle House did not have French fries. I don't know if they do now or not.
No, what is it? I think it's hash browns.
Yeah, hash browns. Yeah. So, and the reason for that was they didn't want to overload the cooks. And everybody thinks, hey, you know, I make a good hamburger. I ought to go in the restaurant business and I ought to sell it. But just because your mama likes it don't mean that, you know, everybody else is going to like it. And you got to be the eternal optimist to think that you can build a business. I mean, build a building and people will come eat with you.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody buys eggs from the same place. So it's the way you treat your customer. But I would tell anybody that was fixing to go into business that they need to look into the fixed cost. They need to look at what their electric's going to cost them, what their water's going to cost them, what their gas is going to cost them, because that's going to cost them about the same thing every month.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then they've got property tax. That's prorated every month. You got insurance prorated every month. There's a lot of fixed costs there that you have to overcome before you ever sell the first item.
Yeah. When you first started though with your brothers, did you think that that you were gonna become as popular as what you are? Because this is the most popular
We had no idea.
diner.
We had no idea what we were doing. I mean, absolutely no idea. We kind of based our prices on everybody else's. We'd been open 2 or 3 months, I guess, and I took leave, came home, and did a cost analysis to find out what things were costing us. We were just fat, dumb, and happy. We thought, hey, if we sell it for $5, we got to make money on it.
Yeah.
That's not true.
So the first menu, what was on it? Do you remember?
Well, we had eggs, omelets. We had the meats. We had very few sandwiches. We had heavenly hash. That's always been, and that started out kind of as a side dish.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's a derivative of the old German country breakfast.
Yeah.
You know, the home fries and the ham and the cheese and the bell pepper and all that. So.
So where did you just got that idea from that and you just ran with it?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because that's the most popular thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, dude, and you can't have it without Tabasco sauce or Louisiana hot sauce.
Well,
so you got to have either one.
I've seen people eat it with ketchup and grape jelly. So.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm not going to knock it until I try it.
But I will tell you something kind of interesting. You know, my son just got promoted to captain at the Sheriff's Department Monday.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
So he is now the chief investigator for the Bay County Sheriff's Department. My brother, Joe, was also chief investigator for the Bay County Sheriff's Department. So he's got that job. And I tell everybody, my granddad was elected constable of the west end of the beach in West Bay in the 1930s. Mm-hmm. And so ever since then, there's been a Coram in law enforcement. So Chris is now the 4th generation. So when people talk about the family business, we have been copping longer than we've been cooking.
Is there a reason why you didn't go into law enforcement when you got out?
I did for 2 years. And
did
then,
you?
Yeah, married Linda. I worked Panama City back in the early 70s. Married Linda. Had a place out on the beach, had a little gift shop, souvenir shop, beer, wine, ice, same everybody else sold. And just decided to go back in the Army.
Yeah, so what year did you originally go in the Army, like your first
70.
year?
69, I'm sorry, 69.
Did you go in because of NOM or because NOM wasn't finished up yet?
Look, in my family at that time, you finished high school and you went in the Army. You went in the Navy, you went in the Marine Corps, you went in the service.
Yeah.
That was just kind of a rite of passage. So I had my brother Joe was with the 3-9 in the Marine Corps. Mm. So he was Force Recon in Vietnam. They were I think he went in with 2-7 and transferred to 3-9 or something. They redesignation there somehow, but he made the only amphibious assault that was made into Vietnam.
Wow.
And then my brother Don was on a riverboat.
Yeah.
So.
Did you go? Did you?
I went in. Every class in front of me went to Vietnam. Every class behind me went to Vietnam. I went to a military advisory assistance group out of Taiwan.
Okay.
So just the luck of the draw, timing's everything, I guess.
But you had fun flying.
I didn't fly at that time. At that time,
yeah. But when you,
yes,
because you said, so you would have been an MP at that time?
No, at that time I was actually a communications specialist. And so what we did is we had a 5-man advisory group that consisted of a lieutenant colonel, a field first, 2 E5s, and a Navy corpsman. And so we were actually the advisors to the Taiwanese military.
Oh.
And at that time, we were on a little bitty island, Matsu, and part of the Quemoy Islands. And so on the odd nights, the Chi-Com shot at us. And on the even nights, we shot at them, 122 millimeter rockets. And so if there was 31 days in a month, they got back to back. They got to shoot at us on the 31st and on the 1st. So But that's the way they kept the combat between the two groups going.
Yeah.
And they'd normally fire 15 or 20 rounds somewhere between 7 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Every now and then, just to keep you on your toes, they'd send something in at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
So you got out of the military, and then you went to college.
I had 2 years.
Yeah. Where did you go? Did you
I
go?
went to Gulf Coast.
Oh.
And then later on, I went to Emory-Riddle.
Okay. Yeah. Pilot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
seems like the route that everybody takes. And then after that, then you went back in.
I went back in.
And then how long did you fly before you got out?
Well, I flew right up to the day I got out.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
What did you fly?
Flew Hueys and Blackhawks is what I was qualified in, but I was maintenance. So I also had some bootleg time in the 58 and a little bit of time in the Cobra.
Yeah.
And then took a joyride in the 58D and the Apache.
And then you came here, and then you had how many kids?
Got two kids, 2 grandkids. Boy and a girl on both ends. Boy and a girl, son and a daughter, and a grandson and a granddaughter.
You think eventually when your son gets done with the sheriff's department, he'll come over here and run the family business?
I don't know. My grandson says he's taking it over.
So you've watched Panama City Beach, Panama City grow up, and like through, I mean, a recession, through, I mean, obviously all the economic issues that we've seen, even through the housing crisis and things like that. And you were talking about how that affects, as far as restaurants go. But, as far as that goes, like, what do you see the future holding for Corams? Are you going to try to expand anymore? Are you going to have another location?
Think so. I think this is pretty much it. I think this is going to be the swan song. And I don't know what Chris wants to do when he retires from Sheriff's Department. I don't know what Caden wants to do. But I grew up out on the beach. Mm-hmm. And when I was growing up out there in the 60s, there was 368 year-round residents on the beach. A little different
what now? Say
368.
368
residents year-round. That was it. Labor Day, it was like you turned the spigot off. I'm telling you. There would be days when if you saw a car come up and down Front Beach Highway, it was exciting. When the summer ended, that place closed down.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You're talking about you really have.
I've seen a lot in 75 years, but I'll tell you, I don't think I've seen as much in my 75 years as you guys will see in the next 10 to 15 years. I think Panama City in Bay County is poised to explode. And a lot of that's due to St. Joe Paper Company. Just about all of the privately owned land in Bay County had been developed. And then when St. Joe started in the development business, they owned the majority of the vacant land in Bay County. So Bay County's growth is going to be dependent on St. Joe. And I think you see with Margaritaville, you see with the airport, you see. I don't know where all these people are working. I don't know where they're coming from, but you go into a community before the paint can get dry on the walls. People are moving into either the house or the apartments out on the beach. I mean, we rode up to Boondocks the other night, and hell, there's very few pine trees left on 79 between the Back Beach Highway and West Bay. I mean,
I was riding up there not too long ago because I had to go out of the airport to take a buddy of mine. And I came back down Highway 79, so I was going to go to McGuire's out there on the west end. And I was just like, all of these houses, that Margaritaville starts all the way up there by 388, by the airport, or past it.
They will actually...
And it comes all the way down to the bay.
Oh, it's going to...
All of those houses.
Yeah.
And
it's going to go all the way through... Walton County over there. I mean, it's a 40-year build-out, I think.
I heard about the bridge. Apparently, there's going to be a bridge that goes out of Margaritaville over the lake, and it's supposed to, or over the water, and it's supposed to go into Water Sounds. So right there into Seaside or 30A. Yeah.
If you go down Steelfield Road all the way down at the end, there used to be a ferry down there that because, that's Walton County down there. And it joined that part of the Point Washington and all with Steel Field and all that.
Yeah.
So that'd be a natural place to put a bridge.
So what part of the beach did you grow up on?
I grew up, you know where the Casaloma Motel is? Just about
Yes,
the mid-beach.
yes.
Okay, I grew up on Lantana Street. We were about 4 blocks,
It's where
5 blocks.
the fork is
Yep,
for
right there at
Front
the fork.
Beach
Yep.
and Middle Beach.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So you grew up right there, and you're saying, so like, did you ever remember a time where Middle Beach wasn't a thing? Was it Back Beach, Front Beach, and Middle Beach back then?
No. I remember when they built Middle Beach. Hey, I remember when they built 23rd Street.
Well, my grandfather tells the story. So him and my grandmother, I don't remember what year they got married, but they drove down here from Mariana to go to Tally Ho because Tally Ho was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And they came all the way down from Jackson County to be able to go eat there.
Yeah.
And I think he said 231, part of it was dirt, like a piece of it was, or something like that. And I was like,
I don't know about that, but I remember going up behind the restaurant there, the Indian Bluff, and they had a little pavilion back there when I was a kid. They had a water slide, and they had a dive platform. They had concession stand and all that. And 2301 was dirt.
oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I remember that. And then right there at Bio George, right there where Mr. Obert lived, there was a guy that did cane syrup
Sugar
and everything. And so he would have the mule out there going around and around. And I remember riding up there with my dad when I was 5 or 6 years old to get a tin of cane syrup because that was kind of a staple around here. Everybody wanted the cane syrup.
So what's the craziest thing that you've seen then? Out of all the years, what's like the one where you're like, I never would have seen that happen in here? And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be necessarily like a structure. It can be.
I think 3 or 4 years ago when they just about had to take over the beach, I think that was about the craziest thing I've seen during spring break and everything, where they, just ran into Walmart and destroyed it and everything. That I never thought I'd see that in Bay County.
Yeah, that's a little weird. It seems like we've been getting, shoot, your son's in the sheriff's department,
Yeah.
so he probably knows a lot more about that stuff than I do, but it seems like we keep getting more and more groups like that. I don't understand what the mentality is behind any of these groups who come here and they want to destroy what we've built, or they want to create some sort of chaos.
I don't understand that. The takeovers, where they come in and just take over a road and everything. They tried that this year, and Sheriff Ford put a stop to that pretty damn quick. They actually went out and made arrests on the guys. They identified them via flock cameras, which nobody likes. They identified them that way. Went out and got the individuals that were responsible for it, confiscated their car, put them in jail. And when they bailed out, they had to go back to Atlanta without a vehicle. And then they had to come back down for a court date to get the vehicle back. So, in law enforcement, I think anybody will tell you this: it's not the severity of the punishment; it's the certainty of the punishment. Mm-hmm. And we've gotten away from that. Everybody gets a buy now. Everybody gets a freebie. And if you don't have that freebie and you don't have that buy, and if you do it, it's going to be this, and if I do it, it's going to be this. Then you see order come back in.
Yeah, talking about law enforcement kind of goes into that whole political thing, and that's more my wheelhouse. But I can tell you, like, if there's one person that I would not want to be in this county, it would be the sheriff. And the reason why I wouldn't want to be him is because, and my numbers might be a little off, and I'll correct myself, but we've gone from like 100 before COVID-19, we had 168 some odd thousand people that lived here. Now we're well over 200,000. That type of growth is just ridiculous. Here's the thing. The sheriff's department didn't grow with those numbers. They did a little bit, but they didn't grow. You're not getting the same amount of officers or deputies versus that population. And so with that, now he has to worry about enforcing the law on more people, like you said earlier, that are moving here from where? We're getting people from all over the country. And when you start getting people from all over the country, obviously different crime follows that. And then, not to mention the fact that it's just extra to the population. And so he has to govern that. And then you do have those little things now, or they're not really little things, but like when you start talking about any new technology that comes out to help them get down to the bottom of crime, him as being the sheriff to approve that, and then he takes the scrutiny from that. He takes the scrutiny from, the damn crime that's going on. Then he gets, you just have, and then it is still a political office. I mean, it's something that he's voted in as our sheriff. So then he has to play the politics on top of all of it. Yep. And like I said, if there was one person in the world that I would not want to be in Bay County, it would be the sheriff. I wouldn't be able to do it.
And he can hire X number of deputies based on his budget. Mm-hmm. And his budget comes from the county. Mm-hmm. And he has to go before them every year and justify his budget, and they cut it or approve it or whatever they want to. But I bring that up because this property tax initiative is going to seriously impact that.
Are you for it or against? I'm against the.
I'm against.
Okay,
it.
All right, yeah, no, me too. Because of the.
But I'm telling you, I see both sides of it. I just see it doing more economic harm to the infrastructure of the county and everything.
100%.
And like I say, right now I think we're poised for a big explosion of growth in Bay County, and I think that tax revenue is going to be needed.
Absolutely, 100%. I think now.
I don't know what they'll do as an alternative. Now, and I know government doesn't do without money. They will find an alternate source of revenue.
Oh, they'll find a way
But if you're paying it anyway. If you're paying it on property tax or you're paying it on sales tax or you're paying it, however, it's going to come out to the same dollar amount.
The issue that I think we're facing here, though, is when we start talking about property tax in Bay County specifically, especially with the millage rate going up like it did. And the millage rate going up didn't make any sense to me a couple of years ago, and it still doesn't. And the reason why is because home values went through the freaking roof. Which means there was more taxes that are coming in, more than we've ever seen. We had more of a population increase than what we've ever seen. Our millage rate hadn't gone up for almost a decade. And so we were suffering as far as that goes. And to get those budgets for the sheriff and, any of those extracurriculars for the county, you need money for it.
You do.
So, but as far as them saying, well, we're going to cut property tax completely, I have no idea what the hell Ron DeSantis was thinking.
And I know what will happen if they exempt your primary residence from property tax, then rental property and commercial property will see a tremendous increase.
Through the roof.
Which then again, commercial property and rental property doesn't have a printing press.
Yeah.
So if it goes up on them, the only thing they do is go up on the renters or go up on whatever business they're in. So
well, yeah, because you got the exemption, the homestead exemption. Yep. So, but these people who have because here's what happens, and a lot of you're wealthy people that are very, very blessed that have worked hard, they have whatever. They have that mentality of, well, instead of giving this money to the government, because they'll have to have a certain amount each year, they're like, well, I'm just going to go out and buy a second place, and then I'm going to have the second place and all that. I don't think they get, what do you call it? They don't get homestead on that already.
They don't.
So, but the thing about it is because that's going to go through the roof now, a lot of those people aren't going to be able to keep the second and third and fourth homes that
Look
they
at
have.
New York. Look at New York. They're going through it right now.
Yeah. Well, we don't need to compare that.
We don't, but that's,
no, thank you. As far as their government up there is pretty jacked up. But yeah, I mean, if you want to, we brought in a lot of New Yorkers, New Jersey, California, Michigan, freaking Illinois people here, because we were open.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I got a question for that. So, when you were open during COVID, did you guys have a bunch of different, what was it like when you guys were open during COVID? I'm just curious. I know It was a long time
well,
ago, but
you know, the rules kept changing. Number one, they come in and said, okay, you got to close. So we closed. And then they came back and said, okay, you can open up, but it's every other table. So you could, you know, you had to have that 6 foot distance. And then it was just chaos is all it was. I mean, every day, you never knew what the rule was going to be the next day.
yeah. As far as being a restaurant, though, I know it's a stupid question, but you might know right off the top. How bad did it hurt as far as revenue? I mean,
listen, especially when all we could do to go killed us 90% down just like that.
Yeah.
I stayed open just to keep my people employed.
Do you think, though, with this new stuff that's coming out on Fauci, that the government might owe you something because of the fact that they hurt you so bad during that?
You know, there's a cost to being in business, and you know, if anybody owed anything, it'd be Fauci. It wouldn't be the government.
Well, yeah.
To me, I mean, you got to hope that he was doing what he thought was right.
He was getting he might have been doing what he was doing right, but he was getting paid.
Yeah, you know, it's beginning to look more and more like it was a lot ado about nothing.
Well, everything was, like you said, it was changing all the time. Yeah. You know, if we want to say science is science, you know, the science on how electricity works hadn't changed. You know, if it's science, you know, then, you know, but it was an up and down thing. But as far as like being in the restaurant business, I mean, I'm surprised that it didn't actually.
You know, we came along and we really had to increase our standards because everybody was so paranoid about everything. So, you know, I mean, we probably went through damn 100 gallons of hand sanitizer in a week. You know, just hell, you could almost get drunk on sanitizing your hands. But that and rubber gloves and, you know, just hammering the employees. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do this. You got to do that. Just trying to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the funny thing, you know, we had a death count. Remember on Facebook and in the newspaper and everything else. This many people died. This many people died, and then Trump got defeated, and the death count went away. I mean, it just stopped, and nobody talks about COVID anymore, other than when they're having a hearing.
Yeah.
Nobody's concerned about catching COVID.
Well,
I've had it 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what we're finding out more and more, though, is that a lot of this just was, and I'm not trying to be a jerk. I know people lost their lives from
I've
getting
got friends
sick.
that died from it.
But I do want to say that I do believe it was more, I believe that it was bad, but I believe that it was very, very politically motivated.
I
It
think
seems
a lot
like
of
it very
this
was.
can be attributed to the so-called accepted treatment method.
Yeah. So one of my buddies, well, 2 of my good friends are both former Marines, and they were working for a contractor out on Panama City Beach for the Naval Surface Warfare Center, and they both got fired because they refused to get the vaccine. And they both of them had to move away. They had to move to other states to be able to get jobs in their field. And now they're coming out and saying that this vaccine isn't necessarily something you should have been putting in your body.
Yeah.
It's not something. And so now the question that leaves us, you know, is like, okay, so you can't bring back the 6-figure salary that I had coming in. You can't fix, like, how do we make this whole again? How do we make this happen? And it's just like people suffered because someone was preaching to high heavens that this was, you know, the science, this is what needed to be done, this is what people need to do. And then employers took it to the next level, and then they fired you for not putting it in your body.
But you know, it was so random. I mean, the first time I had it, I was right at 70 years old. Me and Linda and her dad had it. Now, he was 90 years old. So he's got it, she's got it, I've got it. And then a friend of my daughter's who was 38 years old had it, and he died. So the 90-year-old lived, the 70-year-old lived, the 65-year-old lived, 38-year-old died. And I don't think anybody's ever explained what the difference was in that or what the cause was for that. Why did a relatively young man die and 3 old farts lived?
Yeah.
So a lot of questions there, but
you guys
look back.
You guys are preserved more from the food you've been eating.
May very well be. Maybe all MREs I ate during the Army.
Yeah.
But, you got to look forward. You can't look back. I mean, you can't undo it. That bell got rang, and you just got to go on now.
Yeah. And Corams will keep going on.
Well, I hope. I will tell you, we have been blessed. The people of Bay County have been so good to us. Because, like I say, you got to be the eternal optimist. Think you build a building and people come eat with you.
That's true.
But they have, and they continue to, and we're eternally grateful to it. I tell every one of my employees, if somebody's going to come off that busy highway out there and come in here to eat with you and give you money, then you better act like you appreciate it.
Yeah, that's one thing I have to say about Corams. Every single time I've been here since I was a kid, I've never come in and left and was like, the service sucked. I've also never left and said that the food was bad either. Service has always been good. Wait staff has always been super kind. It's that Southern hospitality that you get at diners. A lot of times when people watch the movies and they're like, oh, I want to run into a diner like that where everybody's friendly with one another, everybody waves. I came in here the other day and, of course, Jim Norton was in here hobnobbing. But he came over and, introduced me to other people. There were other people in here that I had never really met before, and everybody's friendly and everybody's happy to be here. You don't get that out of restaurants either. You can go into any of these chain restaurants, some of these restaurants that are even still family owned, and it's just not like, I don't know, when you come into Corams, it is more of like a family atmosphere. It's always felt that way.
Well, I am here every day of the week.
That's probably the reason why your staff is so freaking
and
great.
I tell everybody, I don't care who brought you the meal. I don't care who cooked the meal. It's my name that's on the sign, so I'm responsible for it. I've got my cell phone number on both doors. Says if you're not satisfied, call me. If they call me, I try to resolve it. If you cook as many meals as we do, you're going to screw one up every now and then. But it's the way you make it right. And if somebody calls me, I make it right. Because we're here we're not going anywhere. We've been here for 40 years. We want to be here another 40.
Yeah, well, I hope it expands.
Well,
we need another one out on the beach.
The way Caden's going, he's probably going to have 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah. Do you say the one out in Bayou George is still open, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I'm not sure what 231 is going to do to it. When they do the expansion there, I don't know if they're going to get me or not or what.
What do you mean?
Well, they're going to 6-lane 231.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't go east because of the railroad track.
Yeah. Ooh, I didn't think about that until just now.
So we'll see. They're not far enough up yet. They're just now tearing down the buildings for phase 1.
Yeah.
So,
well, Mr. Sir, thank you so much for coming on and talking to me. Let me come in here and hang out with you and kind of get your perspective on how Bay County has grown and what you've seen over the past couple of years. I know that you've seen a lot, and so you're up here every day. So anytime anybody comes in here and they see you, I'll have to come up and ask you more stories.
Yeah, come on. It's I'm normally here early in the morning here, and then I go to Bayou George, and then I'm up there till 4 or 5 o'clock, and then I go home. But Linda is here most days. But if we're in town, we're at work.
That's true. Well,
that's all we know.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll definitely be back in.
Thank you.